How to Prevent World War III. That might seem like a really crazy title for a video, but I started writing an article about it this morning, and I was prompted to write the article because I went to Twitter and I saw that trending. I saw that tweet was trending on Twitter, World War III, and I knew it was about all the energies that are moving in our world now and the fear of possibly a war, what's happening with Putin, what's happening with Ukraine. I mean, all of those things, where are we going, what's happening with China. We have all of that, and it's energetic. And so how do we prevent a World War III? We decide to wake up. We decide to become who we're meant to be, and that's every single person, because we create our world energetically. And I was also struck by this because I wrote a message this morning. I channeled the message this morning, and I wrote it and I put it on my site, Any Advice for Today, and it says, you were supposed to change things. That's all of us. We come into the world at a particular time to offer something. Each person, every single person is born with some value, some worth that they could give to the world, to themselves, actually make their lives really dynamic and terrific if they were able to own that. It was God-given. We all have it, unless you think you're not connected to a greater source. I don't happen to believe that for anyone. I think we all are, but we're given individual things to do. We're given different jobs or missions that we're meant to do. And when we don't do those, we're putting a lower energy into the world. And so then, yeah, we could very easily have a World War III. And I had to look at myself and say, I'm not doing my part. And this hit me so strongly because on Sunday I did a channeling session and I had to listen to it. I don't remember what comes through as I'm receiving information. And this is the thing that was always difficult for me to talk about. I receive cosmic information, and as I've said many times, it's usually precognitive, so I don't know what's happening, but I know what the energies are telling me is going on in the world. And this is how I work with my clients too, because I can feel energetically what's happening with my clients. This is why I'm able to guide them. But I didn't talk about it and own it enough. And that's why I felt I'm not doing what I was supposed to do. The fascinating thing is that I went to look at the message that I was given on this date in 2013. See, because my guides, my intuition tells me that I had all this information before. We always do. We just figure it out later. And so when I looked at that message, it showed me what my blockage was. I didn't want to upset the apple cart. A lot of us do that. We have these things that come up within us, but we don't want to change things or cause things to be disruptive maybe, or upset others, or we're really worried about what someone else is going to think of us. And these are programmed into us. And mine was programmed in. And the phrase that's there, you can find it on my site, Any Advice for Today, but the phrase that was there was, be careful. Meaning when I was a kid, I was told you have to do things this way. Don't step outside of the lines. You might upset something. You might cause something to go awry if you step outside of this thing, what you're supposed to do. None of us are meant to do that. We come into the world to offer something new. Each person, it's within you. And if you don't own that, then you're not putting the light and love that is within you into the world. You're not fulfilling your mission, your purpose, or whatever it might be. And it just depends on when you decide to do it. And I got to tell you, it took me a long time, but now because of that, I understand the process. And the thing that I had to tell everyone, I knew exactly what was going on in our world. We're moving through an evolutionary change, and it's generational, meaning that we all come into the world with old stuff. Old biases, old prejudices, every single person. And I've known this for a long time. In 2016, I wrote an article. I'm not sure how many people saw it, but I knew what was happening and what we all needed to examine within ourselves. And I called it, I said, I might be slightly racist with misogynistic tendencies. That's what I said, because I had to recognize that stuff was ingrained in me. It's ancestral from my relatives, wherever we grew up, we all have it. And until we're willing to look at that and decide to let it go, this is the process of ascending or ascension or evolving. We reach a higher state of consciousness and we understand those titles, those things don't mean anything. That we were born with value. each person. And we only make ourselves less when we stop believing that, when we don't understand how we are connected to source, to everything that has come, and we just came into the world to offer something different. But because we've been told to be careful, we don't own that all the time, or we don't want to tell others who that is. I've hidden stuff. I tried to hide it for the longest time. How did I do all of this? Nobody's going to understand that, and I'm never going to allow my clients to do that. And so what I'm doing, and I was told, and this is what I have, the work that I have is an ascension guide. It's about moving through all of your lower energy thoughts about yourself and about others. If you're carrying judgment about others or yourself, you haven't moved to the place where you're supposed to be, and you haven't discovered who you are, and yet you're not living in a different mental dimension. That's what it is, a higher state of consciousness to see, oh, we're all the same, and we're supposed to each come and do something. And you are supposed to do something. But the problem is it's programmed into us, and we have to have a way to get through that. We have to have a way to move through it. And what I have done is I've written it all out. I've been doing it for 36 years, along with every other personal development course you might take, every other coach, mentor, all of that, to make me remember who I was. I do the same thing for my clients because I know how brilliant they are and what they have within them. They just need to have it uncovered, and then they need time to accept it, because it's a cognitive process we all have to go through to accept who we've become, because we always become something more as we live. And the last several years of our world has caused all of us to change and become more, because we had to endure things. But when we don't put assess the value that we've gained, we don't live the lives that we were supposed to. And I wasn't living the life I was supposed to. I took my program down a while ago because I understood what I had now. I had to come to recognize, wait a minute, I've got something that could change the lives of people, and that could make our world a lot better. But I'm not talking about it because I don't want people to know that I'm a mystic and I'm a sage and I channeled all of this information. It makes no sense. Except it does make sense, because as I listened to the recording from Sunday, because I go back and I listen, but I had to listen 4 times. And then I heard people at the end talking about how much the work that they're doing in the program is changing their lives. And I said, I can no longer hold back. But this is how we prevent World War III. We each start doing what we came to the world to do, to offer, decide to become successful, prosperous, have everything that we want, and that's what my work guides you to. Now, I'm going to work with those people who want that, because a lot of people won't. And you'll see that as we're moving through this transition. People will not understand what is going on, and they're going to still stay in their stuck places. They're going to still keep judging themselves and everyone else and putting anger and hatred into the world, and then we could then lead to that World War III. Or we could decide, I'm going to love myself, I'm going to work through all my doubts and fears and all of that, and I'm going to be magnificent, I'm going to earn all the money I want to have, and then I'm going to help the world, because I'll be putting light and love into the world. And that's where my work takes anyone. And I'm going to work with those people who want to do that, but I'm also going to go out after the people who make more decisions, the rich people who are really controlling what's going on, and they have greater influence on what's happening in our world, and they can make a bigger stake, let's say. They could cause more to happen. So I'm going to work for that. But I'm talking about this today because I want you to understand why you're here. You're here to prosper. You're here to do the thing that was given to you, that's within you. Just because you haven't found it yet, that doesn't matter, because you will if you decide to take these steps of self-discovery, and that's the work that I'm doing. You may find it somewhere else, but I want you to know that if you come to me, you will be successful, because we work through everything that might have been holding you back and preventing you from living the life you wanted to have. All right. That's how I'm going to contribute to preventing a World War III. We never need to have that.